just not very big.
You're not the first woman to say that. I mean, I've got big fat fingers, so I mean that usually works. I can turn the camera on. I don't mind.
You're just so teeny.
Cheers for the fingers there as well. Like. Hello and welcome all into the MO podcast. As always, you're here with me, Conservation Sant.
And me, Atreya.
And be careful what you wish for, because here we are in full view of everyone.
Wished for this, apart from God.
I mean, it could have been someone else, surely. Maybe. I doubt it. Just want to say first and foremost, ladies, you're very welcome. This is what you've been missing for the past 3 seasons. So...
He's still got a personality, though, just so you know. And he's a bit of a twat.
It's that big, apparently.
So you're not missing out.
But look at the size of my fingers, eh? So... Anyway, moving on swiftly before we get cancelled.
There's still time yet, anyway.
Well, yeah, plenty of time. Jesus, as soon as our faces go up, it'll be like, YouTube has blocked this for terms and services violations.
People might see my face and I might get my house like egged or something.
Could do.
Even though saying that Jesus wasn't all that.
Yeah, and Son of Sam people may be after you now, so could be bad.
Well, if I die, I was right. And I'll die happy.
Kind of a weird justification for it, but yeah, why not? I'll still deny it, but... So, anyway, what we're going to talk about today is some weird doctors, to be honest. And I've actually called it Cracked Quacks, which I thought was okay.
It's very nice, Aunt, but there comes a time when you just have to get over your doctor. Okay, I can't believe you've made a whole episode about him. Like, yes, he took you behind the bike sheds. Yes, he did things that most normal people would consider very undoctor-like to you, but just let it go.
I just want to know where his shoes went. That's all. That's all.
Go on then.
And,
enlighten me. What kind of doctors?
So, first off the bat, we have Robert Liston. And he was a speed surgeon. Now, you may know this guy, but Robert Liston was a British surgeon who was born in 1794. He studied in Edinburgh under some of the greats. Exactly. So call back to Burke and Hare episode if you've not seen it. Go and have a look. And he became interested in anatomy, and he further narrowed down his expertise to surgery. Now, during this time, there was no anesthetic, so during operations, speed was more needed than actually getting anything right. And Liston earned the reputation for being the fastest knife in the West End of London. And it was claimed he could perform a leg amputation in under 2.5 minutes. So,
I mean, it takes a lot to saw through a leg bone, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't from personal experience, because it would take me a really long time because I'm weak as piss. But, like, it takes a long time to saw through a leg bone.
I mean, yeah, I imagine it would, but... And there was no chainsaws or any automation back then, so he was really just giving it some...
brute strength.
Yeah. So, during this time, operations were performed in a literal theatre, which I only realised a few years ago. Operating theatres are called that because back in the day, you would have people watching you do this, like members of the public, medical students.
You potentially piss and shit yourself because you're in so much pain and terror.
Yeah, and you've got a doctor like going crazy on you.
So on your leg off, I mean, it's only 2.5 minutes out of your life, though. You know.
Yeah, but I think we'll see.
Silver
I think
linings.
it may be the last 2.5 minutes of your life, though. So, kind of.
Fair.
So, he was described by his biographer Richard Gorton thusly: he was 6'2" and operated in a bottle green coat with Wellington boots. Classy. He sprung across the blood-stained boards upon his swooning, sweating, strapped-down patient like a duelist, calling, "Time me, gentlemen, time me," to the students craning with pocket watches from the iron railing galleries. Everyone swore that the first flash of his knife was followed so swiftly by the rasp of saw on bone that the sight and sound seemed simultaneous. To free both hands, he would clasp the bloody knife between his teeth.
Wow.
So it's kind of like the
Hygienic.
Errol Flynn of doctors.
See, you know when you said he's a speed surgeon, I thought, you know those people who do speed run games? I
Oh.
thought that, and I thought it was a joke, but it actually is. You're quite serious. So he actually is like, time me.
Yeah. It was his showmanship that kind of got the best of him because he was so into this kind of fastest there is, ever been, ever will be kind of thing. And
Does patients have a choice of doctor?
not really, because it was the time where if you need your leg amputating, you just kind of go to the first person available.
Or the butcher?
Or
the barber?
As in a Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Loveliest pies in London. So, we're going to count down his top 3 most infamous cases according to Richard Gorton. So,
okay.
Bum, 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 bum. Now that's top 10 chart music. We'll probably get a strike for that. But in at number...
Not really, because you wouldn't have known it.
No, I had to explain it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, in at number 3, list and kill the child. So, this is described verbatim. There's an argument with his house surgeon. Was the red pulsating tumour in a small boy's neck a straightforward abscess of the skin, or a dangerous aneurysm of the carotid artery? Pooh! Liston exclaimed impatiently. Who ever heard of an aneurysm in one so young? Flashing a knife from his waistcoat pocket, he lanced it. Out leaped arterial blood, and the boy fell dead.
It's amazing.
And this was just in the front room. This wasn't in a theatre. He'd gone round to this boy's house and gone, "I'll get rid of that boil for you," and pretty much slit his throat.
Oh my god. It'll be fine. I'll just cut that right off. Whoops.
Well, speaking of cutting right off, in at number 2, Liston, eunuch to patient. During an amputation of a leg he did do it in 2.5 minutes, but in his enthusiasm, he took away the patient's testicles as well. So, yeah.
How did he?
Just got excited, didn't he? And just went straight across and then went, ooh.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. Call you Sandra from now on. That's all right with you.
Just like, wow.
Yeah. But taking top spot at number 1, Robert Liston ended an operation with a 300% mortality rate. So, again, doing his speed thing, he amputated a leg in under 2.5 minutes. The patient died afterwards in the ward from hospital gangrene. They usually did in them days. In addition to the amputation, he took off 3 of the fingers of his young assistant, who died afterwards in the hospital from gangrene.
But he was just flailing wildly with the scalpel then?
Yes. He also slashed through the coattails of a distinguished surgical spectator who was so terrified that the knife had pierced his vitals organs, he fainted from fright and was later discovered to die of shock.
This is the worst doctor I think I've ever heard of.
Yeah. He, So basically what had happened, because he was going so crazy, he sliced through, and because there was so much blood on his knife, he covered this spectator in blood. And because he saw the blood, he thought he'd been stabbed and he was going to die. But rather than, like, go, ow, pain, he just went, may as well end it now, really, and just died there and then.
I mean, if you were like, if you saw blood, if you looked down and you saw blood, you'd be like, oh my god. The first thing you would do, like, if you saw, like, blood, like, on your abdomen or something, is lift your t-shirt up, don't you? You see what the injury is. Like, all he had to do was take his coat off to go, oh, it's okay, it's okay. My bad. Not mine. It's not mine. It's fine.
And surely at some point he'd feel pain from it?
Well, yeah, but I guess, like, if the adrenaline's in, then you don't feel pain, do you? But, like, the first thing anybody does is, you put your hands there and you try and feel for a wound, and then you lift your top up or whatever. You look at bare skin for where the injury is. This guy was a bit of an idiot, really.
Yeah. I mean, Darwin Award, I think, for him. It's a good job he's out of the gene pool. I mean, so all these stories are pretty fucking hilarious, but Liston actually was not terrible, I want to say. He was the first professor of clinical surgery at the University College Hospital in London in 1835. He performed the first public operation using modern anaesthesia, so he could, like, pump his brakes a bit and maybe not kill
Cut
him.
people's testicles off, yeah.
Yeah. He removed a 45-pound scrotal tumour in 4 minutes. The owner had to actually carry it around the tumour in a wheelbarrow. So I don't know if you've ever seen that South Park episode when Randy needs to get medicinal marijuana, and
I don't think I have.
He gets radiation poisoning, and his scrotum gets massive, and he starts using it as a like one of them bouncy things to get around town in. That's all I can imagine that this poor guy was doing. Yeah. He also confronted a certain Dr. Robert Knox, who, Burke and hair.
Equal sleazebag.
Yep. So, over the body of Mary Pearson. She was on Knox's dissecting room just 4 hours after her death, and Liston actually punched Knox in the face because he knew he was part of the Burke and Hare gang. He couldn't have got the body that quickly. And
listen, bro, I know that body is obtained under nefarious circumstances because I just killed her in an operation 4 hours ago.
I know a murder when I've seen one. Trust me, I've been part of a few. And Liston had her body removed to be buried, and he paid for the burial. He also invented see-through Instaglass sticking plaster, bulldog forceps, which is a type of locking artery forceps, and a leg splint that's used to stabilise dislocations and fractures of the femur, and which is still used today. So, it swings and roundabouts, isn't it, really? He
killed a lot of people, but he did 4 good things.
Yeah. He wasn't all that bad.
He cut a guy's balls off by accident.
Yeah, I'm sure the eunuch doesn't think that way, but
yeah,
he's got no kids to tell about it, has he? So it don't really matter.
But the guy that had the 45-pound scrotum tumour had a weight lifted off him.
Quite literally, and to be quite honest with you, he could have given it to the eunuch. Really, and it sold on.
Made 2 out of it.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah. Oh. So yeah, Robert Liston, he was quite funny, and it is mad to think that in like the 18th century, people were actually doing operations in under 5 minutes. I mean, not many people survived, obviously, but still
Like
crazy.
the NHS don't decide, under the cosh at the moment, we'll just be, let's speed run.
Yeah.
From now on. Time me! Go!
I was watching someone do Resident Evil last night on YouTube. I can do this. Trust me. They can do it in 2 hours. I can do this operation in 5 minutes. Trust me. Whoops! Where's his balls gone? So yeah, now we move on to Carl Tanzler, and I don't know if you've noticed, but none of these people have doctor in front of them. I don't really think they ever got their medical degrees. But when I googled this guy, one of the people that you get like the also search for was Issey Sagawa, who was a Japanese cannibal. So yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Okay. So the link is just that they're cutting off body parts.
Well, what he did is abhorrent. I think that's kind of the level that both these two people are on. I mean,
Cannibal. What you think what he did was abhorrent?
I think what both of them did was abhorrent, but I'll tell you the story, and then you tell me if he deserves to be on Issey Sagawa's level.
Okay.
So he was born in February 1877 in Dresden. Karl Tanzler, or Count Karl von Corsell, as he also went by. So
this is an Anton Dubek kind of deal, isn't it? Like Anton Dubek, his real name's not Anton Dubek. It's like Tony Beckworth or some shit like that.
Yeah. And when Tanzler was a child, he would have visions of his ancestor, Countess Anna Constina von Corsell, in which she would show him images of his predestined true love. This person happened to be a stunning, dark-haired woman.
Aren't they all?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's an 8 out of 10 at least. It's not going to be a 4. So surely, or else what's the point of it? Be like, really? That's predestined? Fucking hell.
I mean, I think the girl of every man's dreams is usually, a stunning, dark-haired, sultry seductress.
Yes, it is indeed.
You married one?
Yeah.
She's in the photo.
Well, I mean, yes. She listens to this. Yes, it's very good. I'm very happy. No, I did. She's lovely. She probably can hear me. So
you do realise now you can pull faces and everybody can see.
Oh
right?
no! Yeah, no. Oh, face for radio. Damn it. So during the First World War, Tanzler was interned in a camp in Australia. He was there studying the weather and the sea. To weather patterns and sea patterns, I think. But he became interested in electrical engineering and somehow became a doctor via this route.
As phase like I do.
Yeah, I don't understand how he was able to. I mean, it is 18 whatever, but it's weird how he was a doctor. He after the war, he went back to Germany to find his mother. He's had no contact since before the start of the war, and while he was there, he married Doris Schaefer, who I can only assume wasn't a dark-haired stunner, because he pretty much fucked her and the kids off.
Why did he marry her then? If you already knew that there was a woman predestined for him, why did he not just wait?
Just bored, innit? Really? He needed someone to moan at him.
What if the dark-haired woman had been Doris's mother? That'd have been awkward.
I thought I would have been. Like, meeting the parents, like, shit, I've got the wrong one. Can we just stop this, please? So, In 1926, he emigrated to America, and shortly after being there, he left his family and began working as a radiologist or a radiology technician in Florida.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, he's getting about a bit. He's not. He's not even really a doctor. He just like goes, yeah, that's an X-ray machine. Go for your life. So it was in April 1930 that Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos walked into his life. It's fluent.
A mouthful.
Fluent. And he realised at once, as you can obviously imagine, that this dark-haired beauty was the person of his visions. Now, this wasn't actually meant to be... Well, it didn't work... Well... didn't work out the way that Ellis and Boone would have you imagine, because she was suffering with TB. So she was in a bad way. Now, he did try and save her, God bless him. He would take X-ray and medical equipment round to her parents' house. Now, X-rays are massive machines, so I don't know how he was getting this out of the hospital and just taking it to her house, but...
Or the wheelbarrow off the guy who had the 45-pound scrotum tumour.
Yeah, he could have done
45-pound tumour's big wheelbarrow, dude.
Yeah, or he may actually have had his own, as we may see. But all this and all the weather watching and electrical engineering couldn't save Maria, and on the 25th of October 1931, she died. Now, while she was alive, Tanzler would go round. He would visit her very, very regularly. He knew the family. He doted on her. He gave her gifts, jewellery and clothes. And none of it was ever reciprocated. Because...
Was he very much older than her?
Yes. So Maria was already married. So he was, at this point, 77. He was... Yeah... He was over 50, and she was 30, I believe.
What didn't say about all this?
So they just, because she was, they knew TB was a death sentence back then because there wasn't an actual cure for it. So they just seen him as someone who was trying to save her life. So I just think they went, yeah, you know what, go for it. And we can sell the jewellery anyway.
I'm trying to save her life. Here, this lacy lingerie may help ease her pain. Make her wear it now.
And dance.
I'll help her into it.
Do a dance for me.
Dancing will loosen the phlegm off your lungs. Just go for it.
Yeah, exercise. You need to do a lot of exercise, if you know what I mean. So just lie back and I'll do the exercise for you. On you, one may say.
Yep.
So, after she died, Tanzler paid for her funeral and all the funeral costs, and he also had an above-ground mausoleum built for her, which he visited every night. Now, some of you may be ahead of me, but one evening in April 1933, Tanzler crept through the cemetery where Elena was buried and removed her body from the mausoleum. Now, he carted it through the cemetery after dark on a toy fucking wagon. You know, one of them red things that, like, Charlie Brown's got.
I mean, it's terrible, but that creates a really funny image.
Just the visual of it. He's like, don't mind me, just dragging it behind him. Like he's doing a paper round or something. He reportedly said that Elena's spirit would come to him when he would sit by her grave and when he was serenading her corpse, because he would sing Spanish songs to her. Dead, obviously. And he also said that she would ask him to take her out of the grave. So, lots of things going on here.
But she'd be a ghost. So it wouldn't make a difference to her where her body is just...
You say that, but then now we get into the crux of the issue here. When he got the body back indoors, he went full young Einstein on her and attached the bones together with piano wire. He replaced her eyes with glass eyes. And as the body decomposed, he filled the corpse with silk cloth and rags so it would keep its shape. Boobs, I think he was aiming for there with that one. And he actually made a wig for her that he got out of her own hair that he got from her mother.
Could he not have just cut the hair off her head?
But as she decomposed, it fell out. So as you
collect it.
Well, yeah, but it was probably already thinning because she'd been in the grave for 2 years by this point.
Yeah, but he could have cut her hair off when she just died.
He could have done, but
we know just from telling. I mean, I don't know this guy personally, but I feel like I know this guy personally, and it sounds like he knew exactly what he was going to do a long time before he did it. He was like, "This is the plan," but he prepared terribly.
Yeah, he did. He had this all planned up, and he even dressed her up in her own clothes and kept her in his own bed.
Can you imagine the smell?
Yeah, he used quite a lot of perfume on her, apparently.
Oh, nothing beats covering up the smell of decomposing meat, like bit of Chanel No. 5.
Yeah, like a whole fucking bottle of it. In 1940, so this is 7 years after he had taken her body out of the mausoleum, rumours of his nefarious deeds came back to Maria's sister, and she went round to the house and confronted him. Obviously, he denied these rumours, but he'd already been seen dancing with the corpse in full view of an open window. So the police got involved. They searched the house and they found Maria's corpse in there. Now, Tanzler was arrested, but the case was dismissed because the statute of limitations had run out because it had been 7 years. The only thing they could actually do him with was like desecrating a grave and removing the body. But I think that like has a statute of limitations. Well, it must be less than 7 years because he was never tried for this. Now the public. I mean, this is Florida, so you need to kind of remember that with the public's reaction. But they thought he was a hopeless romantic.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, they didn't think this was that bad a thing. He was just a little bit eccentric.
He's been sleeping with a corpse?
Yeah. And he had literally been sleeping with the corpse. There was an autopsy done in 1977, and he had attached a pipe to her downstairs bits. Yeah.
A pipe?
Yeah, you're just coming in and out on that one, but
I mean, there's ways that surely friction burns.
Yeah, I mean, he was an engineer, so he probably rigged it up that way.
Maybe he made it out of latex.
Yeah, and he knew all about the motion of the ocean because of his studies of the sea. So, yeah, this wasn't actually discovered until the 1977. So, this as well, because it was discovered after the fact, statute of limitations had run out, so he couldn't even get done for being a necrophile. Sound? No sound?
Sound?
Yeah, you cutting in and out.
Sorry.
It's alright, it's alright. But yeah, that isn't even the end of the story.
Go
Be-
on then.
because Maria's body was kept on display in a training hospital for a while. She finally got peace some time after, and she was buried in an unmarked grave. You know, just in case the corpse fucking weirdo tried to have another go.
Did it? Did her family not, argue about her being in a museum?
This was the thing, but because I think they were Cuban immigrants. So during this time, they really didn't have much of a say on.
That's awful.
Yeah, it was deemed to be more important to showcase her than give the family any respect.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So there were rumours that were knocking about after she actually got taken off display, and the rumours were that maybe Tanzler swapped the body out before it was buried in an unmarked grave, and kept on keeping on until he died. When he died, when they searched the house, it was discovered that there was a lifelike figure with Maria's face on it, which Tanzler had made a death mask of her, and he put that face on. Hopefully, just a dummy, a mannequin, but maybe he swapped the body out before it was buried in the unmarked grave.
Like, either way, that's still creepy as shit.
Yes. And the weird thing is after all of this, even though he'd dumped his wife, when he got into older, he started having health issues, obviously. But his first wife, Doris Schaefer, lived close by to him and took care of him. It's just weird. It's just all weird. I mean, the public's reaction is just weird. I mean, Florida people, obviously, but...
So if people ask Doris, Doris, you know your hubby, he did some pretty whacked out shit. What do you think about that? She'd be like, he's a hopeless romantic. I can't stop him, honestly.
Yeah.
He still writes me poems now and again. But he did ask me to make a paper mache cast of my face. I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot going on in that story, really, to be honest with you.
But you said this put him in the same category as the cannibal guy. I disagree. Cannibalizing somebody is nowhere near as bad as fucking a corpse. I mean, it's
okay.
awful being hangry. Being hangry is the worst thing ever, okay? Nobody likes it. And you know yourself, if you never ever go to Asda when you're hungry. You come out with loads of shit that you think you'll never eat, but you do anyway. What? I just don't think cannibalizing somebody is as bad as sleeping with a corpse.
You heard it here first. That's all I can say.
Look at the Donner Party.
So, okay, yeah.
They do that to survive.
For survival, yeah. And if you're a meat eater, I don't really think you can turn your nose up at any kind of meat if it comes on your plate. But fucking a corpse.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking a corpse.
Yeah.
See? Not even in the same category. This cannibal guy is getting bad rap right now. You're giving him bad rap. You're putting him in the same league as the corpse fucker. No.
Yeah.
A world of no.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't actually help that cannibalism isn't actually illegal.
Well, yeah.
You can do it. It's just obtaining the meat is illegal.
I guess unless somebody volunteers. Because there was that story,
Germany,
wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But even so,
I want to be eaten. Go for it. Yeah.
How do you? Yeah, I don't know. But then, yeah. It's a. I was just about to say it's a bit like euthanasia, isn't it, really? But that's a minefield that we won't get involved with.
Yeah.
And I'm not comparing cannibalism and euthanasia as well. I'm gonna walk back. I'm gonna walk back from these comments. This. Ooh, that escalated.
Think about it, right? If a cannibal ate you, you know when you cook with wine, give it like an alcohol, like it marinade.
Yeah.
It would be like that.
I'd be like
Stella.
Yeah. Just don't.
It'd be pissed eating you.
Yeah. Don't have an open flame if you're cooking me nearby. Everything will go up. Like a flambe. Boom. Making brandy sauce. What?
And you would think, being a chef, that you would know the best things to put inside your body in case you're ever cannibalized. I think you're being unfair, personally.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that, wouldn't you? But
well, yeah, I don't know anybody who would be okay with having meat marinated in Stella. That's just gross.
Yeah.
Okay, I know there's beer battered fish and chips, but you're not a fish.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, it tastes like chicken, doesn't it? Apparently, so
I don't know.
It needs something to what goes well with chicken? White wine. So,
yes.
So you'd be all right, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
See, I'm just thinking of the cannibals out there.
There you go. See.
Selfless, that's me.
Say what you want about Atreya, but she thinks about other people.
I do. I'm selfless. It's a cross I have to bear.
Oh god, right. So on that bombshell, thank you all for joining us. I hope you like this new format. If you don't, fair enough. But not about you.
What he really wanted to say was, if you don't, tough.
Yeah, it's not about you. Think about other people. Selfish.
Yeah, the cannibals like it this way.
Exactly. They want to see what they're eating, what they signed up for. Jeez. And if you are a cannibal, like, comment and like and subscribe as well, because it helps the algorithm. But just if you are a cannibal, just tell us what sides you'd have with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
wedges or fries.
Yeah. And if you're not a cannibal, but you just like to dabble, you do that as well. So, doubly on that bombshell. This has been the MO podcast with me, Consummation Sant.
And me, Atreya. However, the moral of the story is, never ever fuck a corpse.
I think that's the big takeaway. And never, if your doctor A, looks creepy, or B, is pacing restlessly, just make sure you're wearing like a cup or some protection over your testicles, just in case he decides to go for the world record on you.
If he sets a timer, run.
There's someone with a pocket watch in the corner, like that. Oh, here we go. Then get out of there.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, day, night, time zone, whatever. But we shall see you next time.
Oh my god.
Bye.
Bye.
The MO Podcast. The MO Podcast. The MO Podcast. The MO Podcast.